Governor Snyder's been an integral part of this conference since the day he entered office. He's fond of saying, let's not just have a nice meeting. He's been masterful in using the conference to get things done, such as the Grand Bargain, the Gordie Howe International Bridge, and to road funding. It's not just a nice meeting for Governor Snyder, but it's a place to advance Michigan's relentlessly positive agenda. We all know Governor Snyder is one tough nerd. I am extremely proud to also call him an alumnus of PwC and a friend. To share thoughts on important conversations this week, please welcome my PwC partner, the Governor of the great state of Michigan, Rick Snyder. Mic'd up still? We have a bit of a surprise for you. We're going to take it out of sequence a little bit, but I'll let Sandy take the mic here for a minute.
So, Governor, we don't want to step on your time, but this is your last appearance at the Mackinac Policy Conference as Governor of the state of Michigan. Hopefully it's not your last appearance at the conference. And when we think of Governor Snyder, what 3 words do we think of?
Relentless.
You have marketed that incredibly well. Relentless positive action. This is the RPA governor. So what do you get the governor who has given this conference in this state so much? Well, there are ethics rules, so we couldn't buy him anything. So, ladies and gentlemen, for 2018, Ray, if I could get your help here.
Yep.
We are rebranding this conference in honor of our governor, the RPA governor, the Relentless Positive Action Conference.
Well, thank you.
Go ahead. So what we're going to do is, after the governor is done with his remarks, we are going to move this very large sign out to the parlor, and you all can sign on to being relentlessly positive after this governor leaves office. Governor, thank you so much.
Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Sandy. That's great. Thank you. Well, that was awesome. That was a real surprise. You can see I wasn't prepared for that, and I appreciate that, because RPA is what it's all about. So hopefully we can have an RPA conference, because we should. We should be proud of what's going on in the state. And it's great to have a chance to share a few minutes with you now, and I look forward to having you get stuck listening to me again tomorrow. So I'm going to stick to the pillars today. Talk a little bit about them and share a few thoughts with you, because I think it is critically important. And I want to thank Sandy and Ray and all the conference people that have done this, pulled this together with themes. It's happened each and every year. And we've gotten a lot done. You should be proud of what you accomplish here. This just isn't about coming to talk. It is about action. And action has been an outcome of this that is making a material difference in Michigan and our future. So if you step back and look at the 3 pillars, is Michigan prepared? To put it in context, yes and no. The most important thing is we're asking the question. My greatest concern when I look at where Michigan's at is that we start getting complacent and content again. We start saying, we get that attitude to say, things are good enough, or we are prepared. In today's world, you should never be able to say you're fully prepared. The world's changing too fast. It's more important you're having the dialogue about what you've learned, what you've done, and how you're preparing for what's coming next, isn't it? And that's the discussion we need to be having. We've come a tremendous distance in terms of what we have accomplished. We are far better off than we were 8 years ago in terms of everything from our finances to the programs to the fact we have jobs now. But we have some big issues. And I'll give you a couple of illustrations. Back in 2010, the issue is there a job? Now the question is how do you get the skills to take that well-paying job that's out there today? The questions evolve. As you show success, as you make things happen, there's going to be a new set of questions being created. And that's what I mean about always looking towards the future. Once you answer that past question, once you solve that one issue, there's something else. And to give you a point on that is I'm very proud of what we've done in the last few years on talent in our state. We've done some tremendously exciting things with career tech education, emphasizing the professional trades, the skilled trades, getting that reestablished is a great track. We still have too many openings, but we've made a lot of progress. Engineering talent is up dramatically in our state. We've got a whole thing for industrial designers now, a whole association. We lead the nation in having more industrial designers than any other state. I bet many of you didn't even know that. These things are all going on, but as I look to the future, and we did some work recently, you've heard about the Marshall Plan for Talent, it was time to look out farther in the future. And when we did that analysis, and believe me, I am a proud nerd, I sat down with the economists themselves and hashed through that more than 2 or 3 times about how we're doing our economic forecast. It showed in about 20-some job categories, we were going to have over 800,000 openings in the state of Michigan alone by 2024. Now, it's just not a Michigan issue. This is a huge national problem. Think about that, though. 800,000 openings in only 20-some different categories. And if you looked at our capacity today, if we filled every single K-12, community college, higher ed, every program we did, and we had full classrooms of all those people in all those 20 categories, we wouldn't come close to filling those 800,000 jobs. So the Marshall Plan concept is it's not good enough. For all the great stuff we have going, we need to add, I call it a capstone catalyst to lay on top, to be an accelerator, to say, how do you step on the gas even more and how do you go further and faster? And that's what the Marshall Plan's about. So one thing you may be recruited here this week is to sign up to be a champion for the Marshall Plan. I encourage you to sign up. We need you on board. We need to find out how to do many, many, many more competency-based certificate programs. We need to find scholarships for disadvantaged people that don't have the resources to go get that education. We need to create a lot of exciting things that are part of the Marshall Plan. So there's an illustration of what we need to prepare for the future. Another one, when you ask, are we prepared, is we're going to talk about this afternoon, the Sioux locks. We've got 1,000-foot lock. If that lock gets taken out of commission, literally, we could have 11 million unemployed in our country within a matter of months. We wouldn't be able to produce an auto. They approved doing a second lock back in the 80s. Shouldn't we get our act together? And when you ask, are we prepared? We're not. Let's solve that. Let's not wait anymore. Let's not wait another 30 years to talk about it. We can do something here at this conference to help send the message to Washington. It's time to act now. So those are the kind of questions that are out there that we always need to be asking. And it ties right into the second pillar, mobility disruption. We should be proud. We are the world's leader in mobility, right here in Michigan. I was really proud, did a trade mission to Europe just a few weeks ago, and we signed agreements to do mobility with not only the state of Styria and Austria, but we signed national agreements with the countries of the UK and the Netherlands. Think about that. There are 2 of the largest countries, most powerful economies out there that wanted to sign agreements with the state of Michigan on this topic. Isn't that cool? So we have that position, but I can tell you, it's not all easy things to do. This is going to be a huge societal transformation for the entire world. And we need to be the responsible voice and leaders of that effort. And we need to do that by not trying to be better than anyone else, but by being the best partner with the rest of the world, embracing the rest of the world. It's not a versus, it's about us coming together and being that catalyst again, to leverage our strengths and our abilities to work well with others. And as that comes, one of the things we just did this morning, I did a press conference with some great people this morning where we announced the $8 million mobility challenge right here in the state of Michigan. It's going to help lead the world, and it's about creating opportunity. It's how do we use mobility to create a whole bunch of pilots over the next year or so to help people that are seniors, people with disabilities, people that are veterans get access to the world they're challenged to get today, and how can we make that better and easier by using mobility? Isn't that awesome to think we're not waiting? We're going to start doing pilots even this year. That's leadership, folks. We also have to understand, though, this will create some real problems in our society, in our world long term. Right now, we actually need more truck drivers, more people providing goods and services. What happens in 50 years? They may not have a career. The question is, normally in America, we think too short term. We wait until we have a crisis and then we respond. Well, folks, in 50 years, that change is going to happen. It would be dumb for us to wait 50 years to do something about it. So we need to be thinking today about how do we help people in that profession, people going into that profession. How do they do lifelong learning? How do they make transitions? How do we responsibly support them as the world changes and not wait for it to be a major crisis? So as we look to mobility and say it's going to change things, it's going to make it's going to save lives, tens of thousands of lives in our country. It's going to create opportunities for people that have challenges. It's going to help us with infrastructure. We also have to recognize it's not all good news. And let's do that with a passion about trying to help people understand the world's changing. And the last one comes back to trust. Trust is the biggest one in my view. My greatest concern for our nation is the lack of civility that we have today. How can you be the world's greatest country if you can't get along with yourself? It's not right, folks. And you can talk about institutions, and you heard that. Sandy gave us some really scary stats about trust in government, trust in media, trust in organizations. But I can tell you, don't think about just institutions. Trust is about you and me. It's a personal thing. And trust isn't just given. You know this. You have to earn trust. So what I would tell you there is, it shouldn't just be talking about trust. It's about finding ways to do something with someone together. It's about achieving some tangible outcome that makes a difference in their lives. Words don't cut it, folks. You do it by action. And you do it by doing action that makes someone else's lives better. And then you start earning their trust. And then you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again. You do it with relentless positive action. That's what RPA is all about. I believe if I have a disagreement, if I have a different view than someone else, let's not talk about what we disagree on. Let's talk about what we agree on. And let's go do that. Almost any issue you'll find you agree on, probably 50%. You may disagree on the other half, but do the 50 you agree on, because I can guarantee you, you're going to start earning trust, and the next time you come back to that topic, you're going to be that much closer to doing that other 50. These are the things you can do over the next couple days. But more importantly, like I said, you heard, I don't like nice meetings. Bring them back home. Let's do them back home. But let's use this as a catalyst to say we can do great things together. So take these pillars. Don't be content. Don't be complacent. Be excited about taking on the challenges as each one of those pillars, because you're going to make a difference in 10 million lives and make the world a better place. Have a great conference. Thank you.